The issue there in relation to Eircom and that they may reach another 300,000 houses, I think that's the fear that the public have in relation to the areas that are not covered by broadband, is that there is a constant line coming from officialdom, may and will and might, and there is huge frustration, and I don't want to go across the chamber again on it, because I've been talking about it ad nauseum for the last while. You know, on your own departmental website, the department has continued its regular engagement with the European Commission throughout May, and further meetings are planned for June, following which the formal state aid pre-notification is expected to be submitted to DG Com. Now, the problem with that is, when you are living in a community that has no broadband services, and they have looked at every single aspect, wireless and every kind of possible way of getting broadband to their home or their business, and we all have the anecdotal evidence of they holding the laptop in a different angle and everything else. And when they see that up, when they see that up on the department website, it gives no indication of the urgency that's needed on this issue. Yeah. And I think that, you know, we were talking about, I may be wrong, but my information from questions we had this time last year was that it would be mid-2015 that everything would be signed, sealed and delivered and would be before the Commission.
Thanks, Deputy. You can come back in. Thank you. Minister.
Yeah. Well, any of the indications, I'm happy to be able to report clearly to the House that any of the timeline indications that I have given to the House have so far been maintained. Now, the Deputy is right, of course. The big hard stops this year will be the procurement process late in the year, November, December. In fact, the next stage really is to take the intervention strategy to Cabinet, I hope in July, and the pre-notification process to DG Comp, and then to get on to the procurement application by the end of the year. That's what I said when I came into this office, and I'm still confident that I can reach that and that I can do that. But people's frustrations are understandable, legitimate indeed, particularly when they can see the services that people have maybe near them or in the next town, and they compare what they could have with what they have. So that is understandable. There is an element of my having to say, Cathaoirleach, that we ask people to keep faith with this process. I mean, it's a very, very big operation to have an intervention to cover a huge proportion of the landmass of the state with, you know, high speed, in order to deliver high-speed broadband. We will do this. We can do this as a country, but it will take time to do it properly and to do it right. And a day never passes, Cathaoirleach. I can say almost literally a day never passes when I don't have some engagement with senior colleagues in the department to ensure that this process is driving on, and driving on it is.
Thank you. Deputy.
I suppose, like somebody had said to me recently at a meeting in relation to this, that if we had the European Commission and if we had all these procurement rules and regulations back in the 40s and the 50s, maybe the electricity might have taken a generation to bring to the people rather than... And, you know, that is the frustration that's there, and many of the businesses are looking at that as well. I have to ask you, you mentioned November, December. Well, November, December is an 8-week period, or 9-week period, I suppose, because of the way December's falling this year. Is that set in stone? You know, is it set in stone that the procurement will be advanced during that period? And, I mean, we are still talking about 2016 or 2017 or 2018 probably before these areas are going to be connected to what is essentially a quality of life issue at this moment in time. And, you know, people have been, and I've been explaining what you have said to me on the floor of the Dáil at different meetings, and, you know, there are people like saying, well, why don't we get the Commission, what can we do to move this on, because it's a kind of leave horse and get grass, and why can't we get the Commission to look at the frustrations? I mean, there are, not alone is there the broadband issue, but indeed the mobile phone services as well. But importantly, you know, it was mid-2015, now it's November, December. Is November, December 2015 set in stone?
Thank you,
and is there any commitment given, you know, that how long will that phase take?
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Well, that is my intention, and I can say in good faith through you, Cathaoirleach, to the Deputy, that nothing has changed since the last time when we had this engagement here in the House that would make me believe that there'll be any issue about November, December. You know, in other words, what What I know now, I knew back the last time we had this conversation here, and we're on course to get to procurement by the end of the year, November, December, as I indicated some months ago. The state aid notifications, I was just looking at some lately, and maybe of interest to the Deputy. For example, a state aid application in Denmark in June 2012 took 5 months to approve. An Italian one, June 2012, took 6 months. British one in the same month, 10 months. Another one I'm looking at here, French one in July 2010 took 15 months. Danish one in February 2010 took 5 months. Polish one in July 2011, 4 months. A German one in July 2011, 4 months. So that you can see the range there. My hope would be it would be a short period of months. But once you make an application to the good men and women in the Commission, you don't know exactly when you're going to get the response. But if you do the work in advance and you do your pre-notification process and attend these early meetings to pre-notify as to what they should expect, which is what we're going to do in the next couple of months, it makes it much easier ultimately then when you make the final application to get it through quickly.